Hello, everybody. Um, it's been a couple weeks. I forgot to make a podcast last week. So, my B to my tens of fans. Actually, Spotify came up with new ways of checking all of your analytics, see how many people have watched you. I realized that I've actually had 300 people listen to this podcast. That is like 300 times more people than I expected, to be honest. So, to all 300 people of you, thank you. I didn't do too much exciting this week. Or last week. It was my wife's birthday, so yes, I had to put out ferociously, I might add. Had to take a shower and everything. And this morning, my butthole was itching tremendously, so I scratched it, and honestly, that is the best my butthole has ever felt. So, happy Pride Month, folks. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of the weirdest cats I ever went to school with. I won't use his real name because that's not nice. So we're going to call him... Oh, what are we gonna call that? That weird skinny dude. All right, we're just gonna call him Skinny Dude. So Skinny Dude, he was one of the. He had no filter in school. I met him at my cousin's birthday party, and he had, first thing I noticed about him, his teeth could make keys. Like you bite into a piece of metal, boom, there's your house key. So. I'm not going to make fun of him for having bad teeth. I'm going to make fun of him for watching anime. First time I met him, it was at my buddy's birthday party. What did we do? We rented some video games, had some pizza, and we played a game called Fear Effect on the PlayStation. And all the thing I remember about Fear Effect is that the main character was a lesbian. So, again, happy Pride Month, y'all. So that's what we did, and throughout the years, I would occasionally meet him. He was like best friends with my cousin, so by association, whenever I went over for a visit, we'd all hang out. He'd be like my gateway to the internet. Because of him, I found out how to like illegally download movies and like download emulators onto my computer, stuff like that. So, really kind of glad I met him that way. So that was a real good thing that he did for me. But he also introduced me to weird Japanese trash. Japanese, they have some good sushi, but they have some terrible cartoons. I remember him showing me this one. Like, I thought every Japanese cartoon was going to be like Dragon Ball Z. And he showed me this one cartoon. Yeah, I'm going to call it anime cartoon, you dicks. Nobody cares. So he showed me this cartoon once, and some Japanese girl, she turned into a cat or something stupid, and then started kissing another female cat. So again, I guess happy Pride Month. I don't know. That's how we kind of all hung out. He was really funny, and he like said the most inappropriate things. And he would always show me like the cool video games that I never got to play. Like growing up, I only played the video games that my brothers played. But no, he'd be like, "Nah, man, there's this really super bloody violent game called Killer 7. You should check it out." So, that's what we did. But he also called me a dick for not being able to finish a video game. Now here's where he gets interesting. My skinny dude friend, skinny prick, he was probably one of the most racist guys I've ever known. Now, he's not like Texas racist. He's like racist, but trying to be funny. But like he kind of took it a little bit too far. Kind of how my podcast takes it a little too far sometimes. I still don't regret the George Floyd and Charlie Kirk jokes. Those were top tier. But anyways, unless my future employer is looking at it, then yes, please forgive me. It's just a joke. Just a joke. Sorry. So yes, I remember one time we went to the mall, and buddy of mine, we were looking at video games. There's a black guy, and he was wearing a sweater vest. He was looking all fancy and stuff like that, and he was really dressed up like he looked like he was like he had a white collar job. He was working at a desk job or something. He looked like a banker or something like that. So we went around the corner at Zeller's, and all of a sudden, Skinny Prick turns around. He starts making monkey noises at him. Like, what are you doing, making monkey noises at him for? It's like, and then he pulls out his hands and he makes like a monkey face and goes, "Ooh, ooh." I was like, good Lord. And then I was like, why are you doing that for? He's like, well, because it's funny. I'm like, no, it's not funny, dude. He's like, it was like, he looks really smart. It was like, man, he don't look smart. Does he look Japanese to you? And I'm like, oh my good Lord. So yeah, that's kind of what he was like. The funniest encounter we ever had with him, we went to go see Spider-Man 3 in the movie theater. And I don't know if you've ever seen Spider-Man 3, but it kind of sucks. And I remember there was a trailer for a movie about something that took place in France. And the narration was like, something in France. And then he just yells at the back of the movie theater, and they surrendered every time, or something like that. So he was kind of funny in that way. He didn't really care. Yeah, he was pretty funny guy. But just like extremely racist to like a comical degree. I don't know if he actually was racist, but he certainly liked making the racial jokes. And again, like I said before in my previous podcast, I am apparently 1/16 black, so it's okay if you. I guess it's okay if I say a black joke. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not. Am I allowed to make a black joke? I don't know. I mean, I could, but I don't know any good jokes. So, there you go. So yeah, he kind of, he really made quite a lot of black jokes. An uncomfortable amount. And I remember one time, I think I mentioned this in another podcast about one of my teachers that was a very, very, I guess we should call it a very progressive teacher that didn't really like anything politically incorrect. But I remember one time he did a project on like Japanese imperial like prison camps or something like that, and I remember we learned in school about how the Japanese had to have they had white patches with red circles on them, and our teachers said, why do you think that is? Why did they have... And then he just yells out in the back of the class, because Japanese have bloodshot eyes. I'm like... I never even heard that. Like, I mean, everyone's heard the thing about how Asians are... The hoods of their eyelids are a little... I should quit while I'm ahead. I shouldn't say anything. But there's a certain characteristics about eyes that people hear, and certain characteristics about white people's eyes. And... yeah, so he said that in the middle of the class, and I think our teacher started crying. So, honestly, maybe a little bit of a bad move on Skinny Prick's part. Yeah, and I remember one time in class, he would just randomly come up to me and headbutt me. And I don't know why. He weighed like 90 pounds, and one time he got in a bad car accident, and he couldn't sneeze without his cracked ribs causing him a severe amount of pain. I don't know why I'm saying all this. It doesn't really matter. But one thing we always used to do, or I always used to do, is in school we would always call each other gay and like make fun of each other by just calling each other gay. There was no punchline to it. It wasn't really clever at all. We just like it's like, hey, you know how I know you're gay, and I would point that at like his pro wrestling pictures on the wall or something like that. I'm like, hey, how many skinny pricks does it take to change a light bulb? And he'd be like, what do you mean? He's like, 3. 1 skinny prick to change a light bulb, and and 2 skinny pricks to have butt stuff with each other. So it was just not very thought out at all. So anyways, kind of a short little podcast today. I don't really have anything to say about Skinny Prick. He was horribly racist. But I guess Skinny Prick is, and again, I'm not saying the person's name, so I'm not that much of a dick. But Skinny Prick is now a skinny woman prick. So, she, I suppose I gotta be correct here. She is now a VTuber. She dresses up like a fox on webcam and plays video games. So, happy Pride Month, I guess.